A large model Showman'S engine, part 42. Cleaning old brass screws, lining the motion guards and repairing the trailer. The canopy side panels are held to the side of the canopy using 20 of these. Because I needed to remove the side panels for painting, I had to unscrew all of them. Most of them came out okay, but unfortunately a few of them did prove difficult as the slots were full of paint. At this stage of the job, I need to remove all the paint from the heads of the screws, and that includes any paint in the slot. The best way to do this is not to use a screwdriver like I'm showing here. Use a hacksaw. Hold a hacksaw like this firmly onto the bench and just run the screw down the top of it. But always move the screw away from the handle, not the other way round, because if you move it in the opposite direction towards the handle, you will first of all find it fairly difficult, and if you could move it towards the handle, then the slot would become deeper. You do not want that. And the other disadvantage of moving the screw on the hacksaw blade in the direction of cut towards the handle is that you'll probably cut your fingers, and you don't really want to do that either. There are 20 of these screws to clean. I pick them up one by one and run the slots along the hacksaw blade. I was quite surprised at how much paint came out of the slots, and to be honest I was glad when I'd finished because there were 20 of them and I hate mass production. The next part of the job involved the use of a piece of scrap mahogany. I marked it with a felt tip pen and drilled 20 holes in it. And then one by one, I tightened the brass screws only slightly into the holes to hold them upright. Then I went into the outer part of the workshop and using a can of spray etch primer, I painted all of the screw heads at the same time. This is back on the workbench and the paint's dried, and now to keep all the screws in one place, not only are they screwed into a wooden block, they're in my blue box. So hopefully I won't lose them. This is a scrap piece of brass that I've been practicing lining on. I think I got the spacing right by the time I painted the third set of lines. I must warn every viewer that I'm not very good at this sort of thing. It is not my forte painting, and particularly painting lines. For some reason I just find it difficult, I don't know why. Now I'm doing it for real. I've applied the masking tape. It's all stuck down very well to the metal plate, and the first part of the job is to paint the thick centre line, and then immediately move on to painting the yellow lines each side of it. Even using this special sign writing paint, which is called One Shot, I still found it difficult to get the line to be solid, but after a second application it seemed to be okay, so I removed the masking tape, and this is about the best I can do. I cannot see any other way of doing it. That's the rear part of one side done. Now it's time to do the front piece. Same principle, first of all the thick centre line, followed by the yellow lines, then immediately removing the masking tape. My simple logic tells me it's a good idea to remove the masking tape before the paint dries, and that way I will avoid a ridge where the masking tape meets the paint. Removing the masking tape like this needs to be done in one operation. If you dither and let the masking tape touch any other part, there will be paint on it. I find this job really nerve-wracking, and I was glad when it was finished, and I think it looks okay. Now I'm going to go down into the garage. I don't keep my car in the garage, the traction engine is going to live in here. These 3 white 20-litre plastic containers are a perfect fit in the passenger truck, and will allow me to carry 60 litres of water, which can be transferred when required to the bunker tank using the water lifter. This is the seat top for the passenger truck, and this was made for me by my friend Andrew at Black Orchard Leather, who also made me the drive belt for the generator. And here's the passenger truck up on its end. The front wheels need refitting to it. To be honest, I don't like this very much. It was given to me by Simon Hudson at the Steam Workshop, and it's the only passenger truck that I've got. I removed the front wheels so that my friend Bob Brocklehurst could repair the welding. Now it's time to refit them to the passenger truck. But before I do that, I'm removing this thing. This is a very crudely made hand pump. It's a big hand pump, and the linkages are a bit sloppy. And all over it, around the valve chest area, are hammer marks, so I would guess it never worked very well anyway. It's bolted to the main frame using no less than 5 nuts and bolts. The front wheels are steerable and the design is sort of okay, but I don't like the idea of just using one bolt like this. I may modify it. I think a more substantial mounting is in order. I sat the passenger truck down on its wheels and fitted the 3 20-litre water bottles. Then I placed the top in position I need to make some internal wooden rails to hold it in place. In the front part of the passenger truck, which is not as deep, is a cut-down plastic water container, and this is to hold the coal. Talking about coal, my friend Bob Brocklehurst gave me some of this. This is Welsh steam coal, and it's a lot better than the coal that you would use in a domestic fireplace. It gives out a lot more heat. I could really do with carrying more coal with me than this when I'm out on the road. I'll see if I can find a bigger container. Here's another shot of the complete thing. This front footstep needs screwing back in position because it's a bit loose, so I removed the aluminium checker plate, then I unscrewed these 3 wood screws, followed by applying a copious amount of wood glue to the joint, and finally I used some much longer screws to hold the top part in position, after which I just refitted the checker plate. A very simple job. As I mentioned earlier, I don't really like this. I think checker plate is okay for putting your feet on. I don't like it when it's up the sides. To me, this passenger truck looks more like the counter in a car parts accessory shop. But it's the only one I've got, so we'll have to live with it for the moment. That's it for this episode. I'd just like to say stay safe, stay well, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.